Welcome to Wellness Wednesdays with Michelle. I'm your host, Michelle Hart, your #1 nutritionist and fat loss specialist. This show is all about how to eat, move, and live to have a fit and healthy life. Today's topic is how to think and eat to stop stress and get your life back with special guest, Miss Tammy Smith, clinical hypnotherapist. Welcome to the show, Tammy.
Thank you so much for having me here. I appreciate it. I love you so much. Yeah.
So I want to just have you imagine for a moment flipping the switch and stopping stress in a second. And that's exactly what you're going to learn today and more. So today you're going to learn how to think your way to stop stress, how to eat your way to stop stress, how actual trauma affects your ability to feel safe and what to do about it, and how to even recognize the chronic signs of stress. Yeah. So, and then at the end, we're not going to leave you hanging. Don't worry. We're going to give you some action steps.
Absolutely.
So that you know what to do and get started right away to get your life back.
Yes.
All right?
Yes,
So,
let's do it.
We thought it'd be fun if we can share when we first met and why we're here together. So, it was super cool. So I got a phone call from Tammy, and she had some questions about health, and I was, answering some questions and asking her some questions, and lo and behold, I had no idea how, the amount of wisdom that came from this woman in the topic that I'm super interested in now, which is more now than ever, the mindset and our inner voice, and how to use this as our best guide to live our best life. And so, Tammy is the expert, and I thought, well, I want to learn more from you. So then what I did was I invited you to go on a hike, my favorite thing to do, with my girlfriends. Love to go on a hike. And I just asked her question after question, and she was just answering them, just popping them off. I thought, more people needs to hear about her because she's quite amazing, and we need to get our stress handled, because now more than ever, so many people are feeling stressed because of all the turmoil and all the uncertainty and the fear. So that's how we met. And so Tammy,
yes,
I want you to share, please, what you do and why you do it.
Well, I am a clinical hypnotherapist, and I do have a virtual practice right now basically all over Canada. And I do have 3 practitioners that work for me as well. So we're quite a team, and doing what I do, really, I was attracted to hypnotherapy when I was about 18 years old. And I had first picked up a book on the power of hypnosis and what it can do to relieve so many different things within people, and even go into more of that fun stuff of past lives and finding out really what it is about yourself, more and beyond what mindfulness is. So really getting in touch with who you really are and eliminating some of these things that we're going to talk about today and how to do that. So I was hooked from a young age and actually became a clinical hypnotherapist later in my life after raising 4 kids and
4 kids.
Yeah, having, being in the workforce and stuff like that. I just realized my purpose and my calling, and that was hypnotherapy. So I went ahead and I got my education down, and now I have a fully fledged business, and I just love working with people and helping them to heal in whatever it is that they want to see. Normally a therapist about or counselor about. Hypnotherapy can sometimes take things one step further for them, and also provide a faster means of healing and getting results for them. So I really love that about that, and I've had such great success with my own clients and our own clients in my practice. So yeah, I was hooked. I'm a lifer for sure.
So if we can work that fast, we need to learn about it. Okay, so here's what we're going to do. Let's dive into this a little bit more. So thanks for sharing. Sure. That was awesome. So we're going to first talk about the first topic, which is how to think your way to stop stress. So I'm going to hand it over to Tammy to share. Yeah, how to think your way to stop stress.
Well, truly, you're saying about thinking to stop your stress, and that's exactly where your stress originates. It all originates within your thought and within your mind. So you first need to understand that you're in a stressful situation or that you're having stress. That's like the first step. So if you're feeling anxious, and we'll talk about the signs and symptoms of that, as Michelle far too knows with many of her clients, But being under stress and being anxious on a day-to-day basis, to be able to recognize that and then realize that everything that stress is about and anxiety is about is not tangible. So it's not the physical, it's really the mental. It's really what's going on in your mind that we need to get a hold of and grasp of and be able to clear that from you. Partly it can be helpful, very much helpful within your diet and changing lifestyle. Doing some lifestyle change doesn't have to be major stuff, but mindset is really at the root of all of that.
So when you're saying how to think your way to stop stress, so your first thing is recognize that you're having stress.
Yes,
Is
recognize
that
that you're having stress. And it could be coming out in various forms, and which I think we're going to cover off on. Some of those things. So recognizing that you're having stress or you're always feeling stressed and anxious is important. And then it is not necessarily what is it that I'm stressed about. It could be anything. It really doesn't matter what you're stressed about, but to understand that there's no reason for the stress, that you don't have to be stressed in any way, because everything in your life, no matter what is going on, is manageable. It is manageable, and you can break it into pieces, and you can, take bite-sized chunks at whatever the issues are of the day, no matter what it is. And then, we have lots of tools and techniques in hypnotherapy and in the clinic that we can give to our clients as well to really just recognize it and to just stop in their tracks and breathe and release it and just take it in chunks. Like, realize, okay, what's the most important thing that I need to think about, and to not think in the negative. That is so important, because anything that you're thinking in the negative is going to manifest within your body, within your relationships, in a negative way. So that is like the most important thing to note, is that it really doesn't matter what that stressor is. Recognize it and stop it in its tracks.
Okay, so just to, that's awesome. So basically, just to back this up a little bit, so how to think your way to stop stress is, first of all, recognize that you have stress, and we'll get into what that is, and just stop yourself, and then take a pause, and then break it down in chunks, going, wait a minute, I'm feeling stressed. So what's the worst that can happen? That you're and it's the negativity that's really taking you down. So it's finding some tools to move into some positivity, going, okay, well, I'm feeling this. I know I can get through it because I have the confidence to do that. I'm going to start with one deep breath, maybe 2 or 3. I think
perfect.
That's a really good way
really
to think your way to stop stress.
It really is. It really is, and it stops you in your tracks. And breathing itself is so important in order to get on top of it, and to realize, first and foremost, is to not take it in as a negative thing. So anything that you may find as negative always has to have a positive result. So
that's important right there.
It really is. And so whatever is happening in your life, there is always an upside. So just to remember that, the minute that you recognize that you're in stress, it's like, it's okay, I can get through this, because you have the ability and the power to get through anything, and I think we've all had those experiences that we have lived through, and we've come out on the other side, and we're okay. And you're going to be okay. Right? I know you've had them, I've had them, for sure.
So I just want to share kind of my little experience, and that is, anytime I feel stress, I have learned that I just stop, and all I do is I really do these deep belly breaths in the belly, not up here, because this is stress mode. You don't want to breathe through your chest. You actually want to breathe through the belly, and so it's these deep belly breaths. So
and you want to breathe through the nose as well, in and out, because our fight or flight is activated by the breath through the mouth. So as soon as we're breathing through our mouth, we're feeling more stress. That fight or flight is really sort of getting into our guts. So we want to be able to stop, and we want to be able to breathe and relax through the nose, and whatever else that looks like for you. You're putting on your favorite piece of music, just relaxing, laying down somewhere, going and playing with your puppy or your child, like something that brings you out of that negative state right now.
Yeah, so it's pause, stop, and breathe and think. Those are kind of like the action steps, is that sort of thing. So yeah, so now we're going to move on to how to eat to lower stress.
Yes, it's so tied in, really. It is. You know, your food and what you're taking in can be a cause on your body for a stressor as well, right?
Yeah, so I'm going to kind of bring something that no one really is talking about enough, but I'm seeing a lot of this with particularly my male clients. Not to pick on you, okay? Right? So females too, you're not off the hook. We don't chew enough, and we're not being mindful of chewing our food. And so what we're doing is we're just eating without chewing, and then what happens is that actually causes a stressful state. You're not digesting your food, you're not absorbing the nutrients, and you're still stressed. Well, you're not going to digest your food because you're in a stressful state. The only way you can digest your food, you must be in a parasympathetic state. And so so when you chew your food, I want you to chew your food till it's liquid. And then you swallow, because remember, your stomach doesn't have teeth. And so we want that connection. It's called, I believe it's called the cephalic phase of digestion, where you need to take your time to chew and swallow and digest, so that your brain, it takes 20 minutes to recognize when you're full. So if you find yourself stressed and overweight, there's the link right there, is take your time to chew and slow down, and then you'll know actually when you're hungry and when you're full, which is one of the biggest culprits to being overweight, is you're not eating at the right time, but you need to take your time. So that's the first thing. That would be.
I was gonna say. I was gonna say that if anyone's had the gift of having dinner with Michelle, she's always the last one at the table.
Oh, I know.
Because she does.
Take
she
my
really
time.
enjoys. She takes her time. She chews her food, and really lives what she teaches. So yes, and it's so important.
I savor food. I think because for the longest time I didn't enjoy food because I didn't eat much food to lose weight. I basically starved myself. So now I just love food so much. But I actually appreciate food, because the food that we enjoy is just so delicious, and it's such a joy. So thanks for sharing that. But there are actually some foods that do help lower stress. So let's talk about those, because I like the practical tips too. What foods that will help to lower stress would be omega-3 rich foods, because omega-3 rich foods really help to lower inflammation and help to lower and modulate cortisol, which is the stress hormone. So we want to eat more of these omega-3 rich foods. What are the omega-3 rich foods? Well, they are salmon. Salmon is high in omega-3, and if you're not eating salmon and you're not an animal food lover, you eat more plants, then I'd be looking at flax seeds. But make sure the flax seeds are ground first, because otherwise you won't digest them. You grind them in a coffee grinder and eat those. Chia seeds are really high in omega-3, and of course walnuts. And walnuts are really high in omega-3. So these are foods that will help to lower stress. Other ones are eggs and pasture-raised meats, because they're high again in omega-3. We must always remember our B vitamin rich foods. So here's the thing, I actually ran out of my B vitamins, and I felt like on edge a little bit more than usual. And I'm like, I was kind of doing the N=1, which is, how is this going to affect me if I'm not having my B vitamins? B vitamins are water soluble. You want to make sure you take them twice a day. And I ran out for a few days, and I did feel a little bit more nervous. And so now my supplements came in, so I was so happy. I started my B vitamins. So what you want to do when you do take your B vitamins, I'll talk about the foods in a sec, but the B vitamins, if you are on them, you want to take them twice a day, because they only last in the body for about 6 hours. And so you want to take it after food. It'll help you with digestion. So basically, breakfast and dinner, 1 capsule of B complex vitamins. The foods that are really high in B vitamins are organ meats, which is something I've been talking about for so many months now, is we need to get back into our ancestral way of eating. Well, our ancestors ate organ meats and gave muscle meats to the dogs. Why? Because it's so high in nutrition. They're very high in B vitamins. Also, mussels and oysters and clams are really high in B vitamins, and legumes, chicken, turkey, and yogurt. But when I talk about yogurt, I mean pasture from A2 cows that are non-homogenized. You want to get the yogurt from those kind of cows, not regular yogurt that's been homogenized. You don't want that. You don't want it from grain-fed animals, because that is not the same product. You want the quality. And brewers or nutritional yeast. It's a really good replacement if you can't have cheese or dairy. Have the nutritional yeast.
Nutritional yeast.
Yeah.
I love it.
And then vitamin C rich foods are really important too, because when you're under stress, your body depletes, it's being depleted of vitamin C. Right. And so you want to put that back in. Things like lemons and limes, and the berries are really high in vitamin C. Bell peppers are really high in vitamin C. And cruciferous vegetables are high in vitamin C. And then the last one is magnesium. So magnesium, you know,
magnesium too,
and we know how much we love chocolate. So chocolate's high in magnesium. So we're going to want to get that chocolate in.
A good chocolate, good chocolate,
organic.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah. So these are kind of the foods. Any comments on foods and eating?
It's amazing, and it's so simple, really. I mean, these are things that we all have access to, in trying to make sure that they are clean and organic and you know, as fresh as possible, and have them with you always. And then there's no concern about what it is that you're taking. It's just all going to help for sure.
You know what? I just remembered you had me over for dinner, and I think we had really good cortisol lowering foods, because there was salmon. This woman is incredible cook. Okay, I thought we need to do a cooking show together, because she is amazing. You did flaxseed crackers. She made her own flaxseed crackers. She made her own coconut bread. I'm going to get the recipe, and we'll need to share that, because it was, my husband loved it, and if men can love it, you know it's going to be good.
It's going to be good.
Yeah. And you made some muffins that were really good, and we had
we had tacos. We had salmon tacos,
and
pulled deer tacos.
Yeah,
it was amazing.
Yeah, it was amazing.
It was really good.
Yeah. So we weren't stressed at all, because we also had some red wine, so it was awesome. Right. Okay, so then so we talked about how to think your way to stop stress. It was stop, pause, and take a deep breath, and know that it's going to be okay, because you know what, we've gone through this before. You're more powerful than you think, right?
Yes, very much.
And then we talked about how to eat to lower stress, so that means chewing your food and then eating those specific foods. And now I'm going to turn the table to Tammy, because she's the expert here. How emotional trauma affects your body to feel safe, and what to do about it.
Exactly. And emotional trauma can be ingrained in our systems from childhood, or even previous to that, and it may be something that may be actually coming out and manifesting, you know, in your body physically. You could even, you know, think about having sore knees or sore hips or a sore heart or broken heart. Like it's all connected, because it's your mind, body, spirit connection, right? So it's so important, and to recognize. See, some people, they don't even realize that they've had trauma in their life. They just know that these things are now happening to them, or things are taking place in their life now that are tied to a trauma. Maybe they just, you know, can't get over something, or they're having issues with their attitude, or whatever it might be, or they can't seem to stay in a relationship for any amount of time, or they're having trouble being loving to the people around them. There's so many different ways that trauma can come up in your life, and a lot of, you know, people thankfully are aware that they've had trauma, but it's the healing from that trauma that is really, really important to do, because in healing that trauma from your past, you can go on to a brighter and cleaner and happier future. So it's important. It's sometimes difficult to undress it and to really look at the trauma, whatever it may have been. It's a car accident, you know, if you're suffering from PTSD or anxiety, high anxiety due to things that have happened in your life. It can be very, very small piece of trauma from your childhood, which is amazing. There are even things like allergies that can be formed because of a particular trauma or event that's happened in your past. There's so many different things, but you recognize that is because it just keeps coming up, or it's something that you're blocked at. You know, you're afraid to move forward in this certain direction, or you're afraid to have a relationship, or you're afraid of this or that. So there's lots of different things that you could probably even think of in your own mind. It's like, wow, this is why I'm so terrified of public speaking. You know, there could be something that happened to you, that trauma. And our subconscious mind holds all of our emotions. So when we've been hurt, when we've had any traumatic experience, it is actually rested in the subconscious mind, and the subconscious mind makes up 99% of our mind. 1% of your mind is conscious. And the problem is that on a day-to-day basis, we operate from the 1%, not the 99%. But the subconscious mind does not recognize yes or no. It doesn't recognize right or wrong. It recognizes your emotional body and how that particular trauma felt to you. It could be as simple as, you know, being attacked by a dog when you're younger, or it could be far, far worse. If it's locked in that emotional body and in your subconscious mind, it is pure trauma. And it can lead also then to chronic issues as well. So it's really important to recognize that within yourself. Look for some of those signs. Is there things that you're not able to move forward in your life, or you're having issues, or maybe it has to do with anything. It could be business success, it could be relationships, it could be whatever it is in your own personal journey.
It kind of reminds me almost of this idea that you just feel paralyzed.
Yes.
And you just like, why can't I break through?
Yeah.
And it's your inner voice is saying, you could do better, but how do I do better? Because I know I could do better, and I'm not really proud of myself. What's going on? Like, there's some turmoil going on. So I know for me, and I would love to hear some tips, especially for my audience, emotional eating. And so much of that, like the 3 witching hour, 3 o'clock after work, you know, and or even after dinner, there's just, you're not hungry, but you're still eating. And I would love to hear some tips on how to break through emotional eating.
And there's actually ways to, through hypnosis, that can be uncovered, and even why you may be holding weight to begin with. Which is really quite magical when you can get down to it, because it you know, in 99% of my clients in that realm, that want to release weight, they have had some piece of emotional trauma from their teenagerhood, their childhood, or into their adulthood as well, especially if you're a woman who's had children and so on. So it's not just those things that's like, well, this is just the way it happens. You know, we have kids, we gain weight, we can't lose it. But there could be something else underlying there that we could release and let go of. And you can do this through self-discovery, a lot of journaling and really inner reflection, and trying to think of those moments and writing them down and getting them out, and then releasing them, forgiving that event that had happened to you, or forgiving those thoughts that you have about yourself. It always loops back to your thinking as well, right?
Yeah.
Because you think on that conscious level on a day-to-day basis, what is it that you are thinking negatively about that's transpiring? Like, why can't you move forward? So really kind of, you know, it takes some time, it takes some work to break it down. Journaling about it is a great way to sort of get that out of you. If you don't want to go as far as you know, counseling or therapy or hypnotherapy, but there are ways, and it's just going to take a little bit of time and a little bit of effort on your part. But yeah, you can get down to the root of that, and then work to heal it as well, releasing it.
I'm so glad you mentioned journaling, because that's what I've been talking about for the past couple of months, because that's actually what's really helped me move forward with my life, and also with my clients who are struggling with emotional blocks. And you know what, we need to get this out of our body, because we're holding it in and it's causing like damage. And we need to get, just like you're detoxing, you're emotionally detoxing, and you're actually writing it down. And it reminds me of last week when I had Katharina on the show, personal trainer, and she was talking about how we talked about emotional eating, and her thing was, forgive yourself, just stop and don't keep beating yourself up. I love that she said that. She just said, like you just said, we beat ourselves up too much. People beat us up all day. We don't need to beat ourselves up too.
Right. Yeah.
And so we need to give ourselves, I always say, my little message is, give yourself some grace. I like just,
for sure.
that sings to me. So whatever sings to you, but there's journaling, and
then the important part of that, or the flip side of that, is recognizing those patterns within yourself too. If you're always telling yourself that you can't do it, or you're never going to look the way you want to look, or you're never going to lose the weight, like, where are these things coming from? But write them down. Write down those things that you tell yourself, and then I want you to flip that around. So instead of saying, I can't do this, I can't do this, you are in the process of creating your perfect body and your perfect health. You are in the process of becoming a truly, fully formed, healed person. Whatever it might be, you've got to flip that switch, and then those pieces and parts that you've written down, stick them on the sticky notes, put them on your mirror, put them around your house, put them in your car, anywhere that you're going to see, and it's going to elevate that part of you. It's going to touch on that emotional part of you, and start getting those positive vibes running through you that you really want. So the good food is a positive vibe thing. Like, you want some highly nutritious good food for you, because you want that vibrational energy flowing through you, and as well the good thoughts and the good feelings.
Yeah, and I was listening to a podcast just a couple days ago, and it was this, ask yourself this, or tell yourself this, what if? So, and that's how you start the conversation. So instead of coming from this, I'm not good enough, what if? What if I can have that body? What if I can have that family that I love so much? What if I can, play golf and not hurt? What if I can? Wow, what if? Okay, well, how am I going to do that? So it really does start with journaling, and just, you're collecting data. Okay, because I'm like the scientist here. So it's like, I always collect data, and then you create a solution, and then you try it, you do it, all right? And you never stop trying. That is not allowed.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, I love what you said. That's really good.
And it works. It really does. Yeah, for sure.
So, yeah, and if anyone has any, we'd love to hear some comments or some questions in the chat, or sorry, in the message box. Just send them out, and then you know what, we can personally answer them, because you've got two people here that have gone through some stress and moved past it, and we don't want you to suffer like we did. So just please send us that. The other thing is, we are going to now talk about how to feel safe. So I learned something that really worked for me when under trauma, how to feel safe. So I learned this from another podcast, and basically it was all about sleep, and so ways to sleep better. One of them was, if you're not sleeping well and you can't figure out why, you're doing the blue light blocking glasses, you've got your morning sunlight to make the melatonin, you ate 2 hours, you're not too full, so it's not going to keep you up. You haven't drank too much wine, you've had maybe just one glass. So you're doing all the right things, but yet, why can't you sleep, right? Well, here's one thing that really helped me, and that was putting a heavy blanket on my bed. I put a heavy, it's summer, I don't care, I put a heavy blanket on my bed, and I put it kind of by my feet. So I feel safe. And what they haven't found like the exact science on how that works, but what we're thinking is that maybe you feel safe because you're in the womb, because you're feeling protected. So I want to just share that with you and just give that a try. It really worked for me.
It works for me too. It really does. Yeah. I've always had to have and I might stick my feet out just to keep cool. Yeah. But I just like the weight and the.
Well, you're probably because you're so tall. She's so tall. She's like 5'11". She's amazing. Okay, so now that you've learned all those things, let's talk about, well, let's recognize if we are really chronically stressed or not. Okay, so these are the signs that we are chronically stressed. Oh yeah, thanks. Awesome, thank you. Yeah, you're welcome. So the physical signs that you are under chronic stress are the following. There's 9. So you have this uneven energy throughout the day. So that has a lot to do with your stress hormone, cortisol. So cortisol isn't working in sync with how it needs to work. So what happens is, when the sun rises, that's when you want cortisol to go up, and that's when you want energy to come up. And then as the sun sets, that's when cortisol goes down and melatonin goes up, and you're ready for sleep. So if that's not working, then and that doesn't work quite often, then we know that we're experiencing chronic stress. Okay, we need to fix that. The other one is this sudden onset of sugar and carb cravings. And so what that means is you've eaten your food, but you have a sudden onset of, I need some sweets. If that happens a lot, that means that you're not handling your carbohydrates very well. And so you've got some insulin sensitivity, insulin resistance going on, and that's got to do with cortisol again. And so that's a sign of being stressed. And so we want to make sure that that needs to be looked at, because really that's going to lead to weight gain. And when you're gaining too much weight, you know you're going to be stressed, because you look in the mirror and going, I'm not who I want to be. All right. And I'm feeling stressed. So there are things that you can do. Okay. So the other one is headaches for sure. And it's not because of a structural damage, but really it's because the nervous system is on fire. The sympathetic nervous system is on fire, and it's causing that, the headache. So that is a sign. Definitely poor digestion. So basically your gut talks to your brain through the vagus nerve, and if your gut isn't working properly, then actually that could lead to the brain being stressed, because they talk. And we want to make sure that, so if you're stressed, it causes digestive issues. If you have digestive issues, it causes stress. So we want to kind of work the two together. And what I mean by poor digestion is a stomach ache, okay? Diarrhea, constipation, and nausea. So feeling nauseous, those are our signs. The other one that I see a lot of actually is poor recovery after workouts. So if you can't recover like very well after a workout, that is a chronic stress situation. Or if you feel these like random aches and pains, your body is inflaming, you're under stress. So that is a chronic stress situation.
How long after the workout should you feel normal?
Well, I don't want you to be tanked the next day. So if you are, you're doing the wrong workout. Here's the thing, and I'm glad you asked that. Okay, so you know you're doing the right exercise if you work out and you have energy throughout the day, all right? You know that the workout wasn't correct or in alignment with where you're at is if you work out and you're tanked the rest of the day, all right? So if that happens, you're tanked the rest of the day, you need to adjust your workout, okay? Because your adrenals and your stress is just too high. You can't handle that workout. So that's a really good sign. The other one is you should be able to feel like you worked out the day before. You know, oh, wow, I feel kind of tight today. And, you know, I feel like, wow, like I worked out. Not, I can hardly move and get up out of my chair. Okay, so that actually went way too far, and you actually caused way more damage, and you're setting yourself back. You're not even moving forward with your muscle, your toning of the muscles and the fat burning. You're actually setting yourself back. And so what that means is tone it down. So when you do train, you know, get it to a level where you have energy throughout the day, and the next day you kind of feel, wow, yeah, I feel like I had a good workout today. If you feel really sore the second day, you went way too far, because that's delayed reaction, and you went deep. So again, just, it's okay. Give yourself some grace. Don't beat yourself up. Don't allow that. And go, you know what? That's cool. Wow, this is great information.
And be okay with taking a day off of your workout if that's right. Like, be okay with that. And even if you're in a weight loss situation and you're really srying hard, like, good for you. You're trying hard, but you've got to give yourself that grace as well.
That's a really good tip. I love that. That's true. But only one day. So the next one is, if you're getting like these chest pains or rapid heartbeat, we know that the sympathetic nervous system or your stress is too high. And so that's the time when you need to stop and pause and think and take those 3 deep belly breaths. You take the deep belly breaths, it'll put you right back to parasympathetic, and you'll calm yourself down. So that's a sign. The other one is if you have disrupted sleep. If you have disrupted sleep, you're stressed during the day. And you know what? If you don't fix your sleep, you'll always be stressed. Sleep is so foundational. I know for my plans, that's one of the first things that I help fix is we got to get the sleep right. Because I know if they don't, they're not going to be digesting their food, which means they're not going to be able to lose that weight in a healthy way, and they're going to be stressed, and they're not going to get to their goal. So we want to get that sleep, all right? And infections. So what happens is if you're getting frequent colds and infections, then you are under too much stress, because when you're under stress, it actually lowers the immune system. Stress high, immune system low. So you want to make sure that you pay attention, especially coming soon. We know that October, November is coming, and now is the time. You can't wait any longer. You must start taking care of your health if you haven't yet, and that means take care of your immune system today. And if you're needing help with that, we can both help with that. But you need to start taking care of yourself, because you know what? We know that end of October and beginning of November, you're going to be challenged with a situation that you've got to be prepared for. And so really, let's start today. And the last one is a loss of libido and a loss of being with your, like, feeling close to your partner. That you really want that. I mean, that connection is so important, is that having that desire and being with that special person, because what you're doing is you're actually being with that person lowers your stress. Just even touching and hugging, and they've done research on this. When you hug people, your stress goes down. When you connect with people, your stress goes down. And when you have, you know, relationships and intimate relationships, your stress goes down for both of you, and testosterone goes up. So guess what? You get to get better muscle tone and improve your health in a really good way. Really,
yeah,
that's important, right?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, that's 100%. And that relationship piece too, like these are some of the things, you know, your health, your relationships, your own personal journey are things that are being affected if you don't look at what you're doing to yourself. If you don't look at that mindset, if you don't look at the things that you're saying to yourself and deal with the stress that's happening in your life. And yeah, just remember, like, it's all going to be okay.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, it's all going to be okay.
Tammy, it's all going to be okay?
It's all going to be okay.
Okay, so Tammy says all going to be okay, so it's all going to be okay, all right?
It's all going to be okay. It's going to be fine.
Yeah.
Yes.
So, yeah, these are really good tips. And then what, we talked about the signs and what they were. And then I just want to touch upon a few things about supplements, because sometimes they are supplementing a healthy diet, by the way, but there are some supplements that could really act as really tools that can really stop stress right away. And I have to share one that really works well for me. Sometimes I take on a little bit too much sometimes, and that's okay. I balance it out the next day, but there are times that I have a lot on my plate. And if I feel anxious or I'm getting this, oh my gosh, I have a lot. This one here, this supplement, you take one shot of this, it's GABA. And it's a liquid though. Liquid acts fast. This one here, you take a shot and it just calms you right down. It's really good for kids too, if they're having anxiety or stress. And it's really good to calm them down right away. Awesome. The other one that I really like is, I personally, and everyone has their own preference, but I really like glandulars, because glandulars are custom meal for that particular gland. And so when we're talking about stress, we need to really look at the adrenal glands. Okay, it's part of the stress picture. So the adrenals, we want to support those. And so I really find this helpful. So it's an adrenal glandular with a few other B vitamins and supportive supplements like vitamin C and zinc that really help support the adrenals, so that you don't feel edgy or stressed. You take 1-2 times a day with food, and you're actually rebuilding the adrenal glands so that you don't have stress. And then the last one is, I find this to be really, really helpful, phosphatidylserine. This is like almost like a magic pill to me. I mean, if I'm allowed to say that, but what this is really good for is the nervous system. But the other thing is it really helps with sleep. And so, yeah, and so you want to take one during the day, okay, to help with the nervous system, keep it calm. But then you take one before bed, and it really helps to get you sleeping. And I learned that through a medical doctor, through the blood work that I used to do and the micronutrient testing that I did. And he gave me that clinical pearl that now I try, and I'm recommending for clients. What do you do?
Awesome. Well, I've got to say, I'm probably like the lowest stress person on the planet, but also something to do to help you to manage the stress. And Michelle, I know you do this, and maybe more so, you know, more recently. But it's really planning out your day too.
Oh, yeah.
Like you know, from the time you wake up. And it's okay if that calendar is pretty full, and it's okay if you don't hit all those markers during the day. But the feeling that you get after you have accomplished those things that are on that list is phenomenal. So it's really important to always plan your day, and so that helps me as well with the stress. But yeah, I am quite the chill individual. But then I'm literally like speaking hypnosis all day long. So it really calms me down. So
I feel calm
really
already.
Helps. That really helps with me for sure. And even doing some guided meditation. So, you know, there's lots of things on YouTube, or reach out to me and let me know what's going on. I've got MP3s available I'm happy to give to you that would help you with managing your stress or managing what's going on in your life. And listening to that once a day, right? It doesn't have to be long or even twice a day, but you know, when you wake up, or especially at the end of the day, when you have your chamomile tea and you're relaxing and the screens are off and you are getting ready to sort of be in that state and go to bed, like that's a great time to listen to some guided meditation. And especially when it comes to affirming the positive in your life, like your stress is gonna just lower immensely by doing some of these things. Incredibly, it's going to be great.
Great. No, those are really good. So how can people get in touch with you and learn more about how you can help them stop their stress in a second?
Well, you can visit my Facebook page. It's Next Level Therapy, or my website, nextleveltherapy.ca. You can book a free consultation with me. We'll have a 30-minute chat about what's going on for you, and I can give you some recommendations as to what to do and how to move forward from there. I also have a hypnotic health group that I think eventually Michelle and I, we do have plans in the future to get together and combine these forces and create a great program for people.
Look out for that.
Yes, yes. So yeah, there's a couple of ways to get to me, and I'm also on Instagram, and it's also Next Level Therapy Kelowna. My Facebook page is Next Level Therapy Kelowna if you using the ampersand first, so easy to find. And yeah, shoot me a message.
Yeah, and I'll put that in the notes as well, so that you can connect directly with Tammy and not stress about it. Yeah. And then for me to help you, I have this lose 20 plus pounds within 90 days without giving up your fun. We can't give up your favorite foods and even wine. There is a way to do it, and it's all in the strategy. All right, so I've got the plan for you, and it's sent right to your phone. It's sent to your computer. And it's meal plans, it's recipes. It is a daily routine, because what I'm realizing more than ever, when I ask my clients that have lost their 20 plus pounds in 90 days, what were the biggest takeaways? What really helped you the most? And one of them was the daily routine, because they really like to know what to do, and they follow the routine, and they follow this like easy structure, and they do it day by day. That's how they stay consistent. And that was one of the game-changing things. So that, I'm really glad I put that.
It's also helpful for relieving your stress too, like just knowing what you need to do first, last, next, and so on. It's it's amazing. It works really well.
Yeah. So remember, keep fit and healthy simple, and say bye to Tammy and Michelle, and I will see you next week on Wellness Wednesdays with Michelle. And if there's anything that you want me to speak about, and some topics that you want me to talk about, please put them, comment below. And also, if you like this, please like it, share it with others, because other people, I think we really need to speak more about this and move through this, because you really can. You can get through this, okay? Because Tammy said.
Yes.
Tammy said we're going to be fine.
Yeah.
Okay, catch you later.
Okay, bye.